welcome to the channel. It's been a long time since the last time I made a video, and well, unfortunately I've had COVID and one flu and illness after another. Finally I'm getting better, but now it's nothing but raining. And I've been waiting for better weather and well, it didn't come. Now it's good time to go exploring because, as you can see, foliage is starting, or how you ever call it, undergrowth, has started to drop its leaves. So you can actually find something, nothing growing on the ground. So despite the bad weather, I decided to start to get on with it and go and make more of these videos. I have found a few really interesting uncharted areas of mining, other industrial activity and so on, which will take a bit of preparation to work or to go there. They're not entirely safe places to go to necessarily, so I need to do a bit of groundwork before that. But while I'm preparing for those places, hopefully planning to do them still during this autumn, I have a few places which, well, not as fancy or not as grandiose as some of those other places I'm planning to go to, but these are nonetheless interesting sites which are not so far from the downtown of Tampere. I am, however, not going to exactly reveal locations of these places. I mean, if you search well enough online and know the area, you can find these easily and know where I am. I don't want to create too much an attraction to the places I go so that people don't go and damage these sites, which are basically protected by government. Most of them, at least, the ones which I've not found. But according to Finnish law, even if it's not officially in any registries or checked by the officials that protect these, it's still a protected place. So you must always treat them with respect. Okay, the first one, this place is a place of quarries. I've searched quarries in Finland before, lost ones, documented like 200 years ago, and found them. And all the activity and stuff related to them, that was, I mean, equipment, roads and so on. Quarry or mine, however you say it, in Finland, in many places, the people who did this, they couldn't afford to dig underground through the granite and the rock and do actual underground mines. So they did quarrying and just removed the rock from the surface and either used the rock as such or took the material, mineral, whatever they wanted from the rock. So this is one of these places. As far as I found out, this is, the officials expect that it's somewhere around 1800s afterwards. So about 200 years old since this place was quarried, and it's located in multiple sites near this area, so I will go through all of these. Unfortunately, the whole area has been broken up by roads and by buildings. But, well, let's see what I can find. So it's not an intact area as such, and it's really unclear has there been quarrying in this area for before the 200-year ago period. But I mean, even for the museum officials, that was just plain guessing. There's not much information almost at all anywhere left. Since they couldn't find it out, I seriously doubt I can find out anything more from the archives or anywhere about this place. Okay, let's take a look at the surrounding area. So this is what it pretty much looks like. Dense forest going uphill. So that's where I'm going. And the amount of growth here, if I would come here this summer, or let alone the other places I'm planning, to the mines and so on, they would be really dangerous. They would be really, really dangerous places because you couldn't see anything where you're stepping on. So, in one hand, spring and autumn, spring after snow has gone, and autumn is good time to go and find something. So now I need to somehow get up there. That's supposed to be the first place. Okay, see you up there. So I think I found the first place. Here's stones on the ground and kind of a wall there. And there's more over there and kind of like pits. Of course there's roads going nearby, but nothing major here. And if you look at the rocks down there, they could be just about any loose rocks. There's lots of formations in Finland where you could have rocks like this, even fields of them, and they're purely natural phenomena. Okay, yeah, sorry, shouldn't touch that one. So, how do I know that this is a place which has been quarried? Going closer and closer. You see, there's a lot of moss already gathered. This tells about the age that it has been done recently, and there's a hole here. So this is effectively, I hope you can see it, but trying to change the angle a bit. But here's a cavity, which is straight down, and there's a hole. And if I were to look here, I would probably find. So this is a drilling hole. It's quite deep. I found some really old sites of quarrying, and they only had surface holes like this, very shallow. And the surface of the hole wasn't so smooth, of course. This could have worn out by water or anything here. But they, at least based on what I understand, that they had the choice that they drilled small holes, they put water, they heated, they cooled, and so on, the rock, and they cracked pieces of it. But this is definitely a deeper hole. I don't know if I can see others. I'm not willing to, since this is a protected site, so I'm not touching, removing any of that stuff over it. That moss which is growing. Let's just go to see more places. Ugh. More loose rocks everywhere. Oh, even more pits. Let's climb over there. Yeah, I think I'm on top of a pile of boulders. Or I think you call it waste rock pile in the US. So I'm really wondering how much you can actually see of this. It's quite dense here, and I'm making myself and my camera wet. So there's a pile of boulders. I will try to get over there and see what lies over there. I think I'm using DJI, this Osmo Pocket, and I think I might want to buy something more waterproof. So here's another place where you can clearly see there's a pile of rock there. There. Yeah. Let's see, let's go to see the rock face. This is not an underground mine, but I know based on the documentation I read that the museum officials really have not researched these mines anywhere in Finland almost at all. They just said they are, and that's it. I mean, I understand they don't have resources, but so you can see there's like a gap. Could this possibly be a slate they was chipping off? Can I see any kind of drilling marks? I think I might need to go to the other side to find more drilling marks. I think this whole hillside is pockmarked with these holes or cavities, full of rock which is still here, which was never taken away, waste rock pile or whatever. Let me see, any drilling marks? I'm standing on top of the waste rock pile. I hope it's stable. Can't see really. It's obviously it's human work here. And there's houses nearby, but I don't think they needed to do anything with this bedrock here to do this. It's really one of the challenges, try to see any marks here. There's holes underneath, but nothing much there, just pile. Nothing underground secrets here. The stone seems to be easily chipping away. No drill holes, at least here, none that I can see. But of course, during last 200 years, it's possible that these rocks which is in the ground, that all of this stuff has, what you see here and here by my foot, it just chipped away from the wall, and you need to dig for the pile to see the drilling marks. Let's go see more. Oh yeah, I think we found the main quarry. Let's go in. So here's there's a house there, and going downhill. For most teenagers this is a fun place to play. For me it's also a place of possibly dangerous things, as this is an old quarry. You have no idea stuff has been gathered here, because I still have 2 other locations I need to record. Okay, here's another possible place to find drilling marks. It would be nice to find. I mean, this is only the smaller of the quarry areas. Do I see? Oh yes, here it is. Here, okay, let's see. I will zoom in. So here you can see a groove that goes deep down. So this is quite a deep drill hole. It means that it's done during the time when we had equipment to drill something like that. So, I mean, if it was somewhere during the last century, I think the museum officials would know about it. But since it's most likely before the independence of Finland, they don't know about it, as most of the documentation for that is long time gone. Very few books or anything remain. Oh, here is, okay, this is, so, see, a stone, a boulder, and on the side here, let's take this piece of spruce off from the way. You can see in the corner, there's a drill hole there. So these are all from this quarry. And the ground is damp. I've seen this like before in other places of quarries. It's when you have the bedrock or waste pile underneath and it grows this kind of airy, moist stuff underneath it. So there you can see more of the quarry wall. And you can actually, I can see from here the drilling holes. Yeah, definitely a place. And I think underneath there you can see kind of moss and stuff. It's kind of a bound, I don't know if it's funny to walk on. That's the waste rock pile of whatever they didn't want. I will transfer myself next to the next area of this quarry. See you there. Okay, I'm entering the next area of quarry. I think this is kind of an obvious one. I hope there's not too much water in the lens. So this is kind of an obvious one. Let's take a look. Take a look at that. That's kind of obvious. Do we find the same lonely long drill holes? Anywhere here? Of course, the local Spray Painters Club has been here, though I don't think they realize that we're talking about a historical monument here, but there's one. Let me see. Yeah, there's one. Well, this is marked in the maps as the site. So I don't think they needed to blow up all of these rocks just for the sake of the road. Next, I will go up there to see if there's anything more there. See you there. So what I showed you in the edge of the cliff there, that's effectively based on the maps I rejected. It's the quarry, the second part of the quarry. And now I'm on my way to the third part of the quarry. And let's see what we find there. So let's look what we can see in the nature. There's a hole, mostly quarried out. Here's two. You can see from the sharp edges in this case, since it's been marked as a quarry, any drilling marks, so let's go down there. So the drilling marks are the surest way to know where something has been done. And the more primitive kind, I know how they start looking less smooth from the edges, everything, less and less holes. You know that it's getting older and older. Okay, let's look down there. Hope you can see there's a waste rock pile of something. Oh, I can see some drill holes actually. Okay, I have something more interesting to show you. It's kind of but not really valley. There's huge, really old trees next to me. So it means that this ground wasn't dug to this level very recently. Really big trees, birch, pines and so on. And then the ground raises over there a bit higher, as well as on the other side from here. And you can see where they've been cutting off the rock. And this seems like a big area just to make, unless this is people it's quarried. There's now of course huge amount of soil and dirt and stuff accumulated. So whatever remains of the infrastructure. I've been to a few quarries, old ones, where they actually laid rock on the ground to support the equipment to take the rock out of the quarry so it wouldn't sink into the ground. And in some of the places when you dig enough, you find the old, very densely made cobbled stone underneath. But the problem is, of course, it's usually huge amount of dirt or stuff grown on top of it during the, let's say, 100 to 200 or even more than that years. But also there you can see it's pretty much like a huge valley or hole dug into it, and then they later probably made these paths here and filled them up. Or maybe these paths existed here for taking the produce whatever they did elsewhere. I have been able to find places of quarrying and taking material out of the ground where they have actually made the produce manufacturing process, whatever they did, on location. But those are not easy to find. They're purely random. If I happen to notice something really unusual in the ground, a shape or something, that usually gives a sign in this place that there's been something there. It looks nice, but when you think there can be anything underneath the ground here. Ooh. There's a deep depression over there, quarrying all over this place, more and more over that way. And in the middle here, they didn't do much any kind of quarrying. Over here, I mean, if you would remove all the, okay, there's some children's playground there. Do I dare to look? Yeah, so this is part of the quarry. I can see drill marks all over the place here, similar to the ones I showed you earlier. But if one would strip this ground here of all the layers, let me show another view. Let's say down there, if one would, there's a slight incline there and holes, and if one would strip all this ground and trees out to the level of what it was when the industrial, let's put it this way, industrial level activity, because this is no way a small scale operation back then. So what would one find? That's an interesting question. But of course, since these are protected monuments, just telling the age, since this whatever was dug here was, of course, you remove the trees and everything. This tree here is huge. Not maybe for American viewers. I know you have sequoias, I've seen them, but this is quite big. This is basically much thicker than I am, despite my age. But it's quite an old tree, way over 100 years. And there's many more of them here. Some really big and old trees. So it means that this all has been growing here on top after they did the quarrying here. Government officials marked quite a large area for this. So I'm a bit questioning, no, I just see forests. Like I said, it can be completely covered, everything. That's the bad part. If they did in other places make tunnels, those are dangerous because you can't see anything. I found some marks of the quarrying again. Let's turn to look at them more closer. So here is waste rocks, and here in the middle of nowhere in the forest, drill hole going deep. So we're back to the quarry. My GPS doesn't work here, so I wasn't entirely if we're outside the area or not, but okay, that's a slightly scary looking spot. I don't know if you notice, it's like a, okay, there's a wall there, and the wall goes over there, and it drops down. Suddenly in front of my feet, it just drops down into this kind of hole with plants which I know that usually like water. And yes, there's lots of water there, so it's spring. The problem with this, I don't think this is a mining hole. Of course it could be. I have no idea how deep that is. It's definitely packing in water. So if you see a place like this in Finland, for example, don't go walking there. You don't know if in the middle there's a, even if it's not a deep shaft or something, it can be a really deep hole which they dug and it was filled with water and stuff growing on top of it over time. So you need to be very, 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 very careful. Okay, I'm trying to go around it because, yeah, definitely not stepping in over there. Let's show you the water in the middle. I hope you can see it. Yeah, there's water. Let's try to find a, if you can safely find a drilling hole here. Then we know for sure. I can see a drilling hole on the other side. My zoom isn't enough in this one to see. Anyway, there's more drilling holes here, so it's for sure it's a cavity made by humans, filled with water, plants and stuff, which loves places where moisture and can also float kind of on top of water. So this is not a natural bog. It's a human-made one. Natural bogs I'm not afraid of. Human-made ones, they can be pretty dangerous. You have no idea what's inside there, underneath there. Especially if it's a old. Let's take a look again. Yeah, it's water there, kind of marshy. Yeah, this is not a natural phenomenon. It was dug by someone. Up. Not a pleasant idea to go there. Sorry for repeating it many times. I just find this kind of, I know people love to go into mines, but almost every mine and stuff I found in Finland, they involve something like this, filled with something. In case of also mines which are known to have shafts and so on. Not much left on the sides. On the other side there was drilling holes. Yeah, I'm not willing to go there. Okay, there's still a lot more area to look. Let's see what else we can find here. I read a bit more about the documentation and they mentioned kind of in plural rock quarries. But again, there was no description how many, was it one, for which purpose, not much information. However, I found a nice place in the end of it, which I think might be a rock quarry. I just have no idea how to get down there. Let's take a look. As you can see behind me, there's a sharp edge of a rock. Yeah, could be a quarry. Second, much bigger part of the quarry again. You know, just when you think, you know, I've gone through all of that, there's nothing it is special here now, and I find this. Okay, this is quite big. Okay, I guess I'll let this be on and you can see me slide down on my bottom on these hills. In Finnish places like these rock quarries, they have sometimes open up springs in the rocks or whatever water sources, and then the moss grows over it and you step over it. You think there's solid moss and stone there. No, there's a flow of water and then you slide down the whole hill with it. Okay, yeah, this is definitely a part of the quarry. To prove you that, I will turn the camera around. There it is. Okay, now camera is turned and I'm pointing you to a drill mark over there. So yes, this rather massive place is actually a really big third part of the quarry. Now I just need to get down there. There could be something really interesting down underneath. But I need to get down there. More interesting, look at my face while I fall or slide on my bottom. I'm trying to take hold of a tree which is kind of already located in a not very stable place. Whoop. So yeah, you can see there's waste rock piles, quite a lot of digging, and who knows how far this rock actually continued there. Let's see if I can, kind of in the middle of the quarry. Oh, this is a bull. Don't worry, I'm finished. I'm used to walking in the middle of nowhere in the forest in horrible weather conditions. That's by birth. Oh yeah. Let's turn the camera around and you can see more of the quarry face there. And detail close up with my finger of the actual drill hole going all the way through here. So yeah, another big portion of the quarry. Again, still wondering, how did they get this stone out of here? I don't seem to have found any sensible, there's holes, pits, but again, if you would strip the whole hill bare, maybe you could find actually paths and trackways that take the stone out of here. You usually think, okay, they just had horse and carriage, but if you put a huge amount of horse weighs a lot, a carriage weighs a lot, if you put a lot of stone on top of it, it's definitely going to weigh even more, and any kind of normal surface will not take it any better than it would a modern truck with the same equivalent stone load. So they had to have the infrastructure here to handle them, sell them, whatever they were doing here. Tools, maintenance, everything. It all had to be here. Very often it was, at least. Okay, this is just my opinion, but the places I've seen, they had remains of the infrastructure that used to be located here. Again, one more look of the stone face of the quarry. I'm actually in a deep hole in the middle of it, not the best idea. But again, no visible good places where to take the stuff. And a waste rock pile, I hope you can see it. So they didn't take everything from here. I think this was the last of it. I hope. Possible I missed something. I'm just getting quite wet. My camera is getting very wet, and it's definitely not waterproof version of any kind of camera. So I think this was it for this video. I mean, to be honest, I expected just a small hole with some chunks of stone removed here and there, like a local, someone called it mine operation, something small for local use. But this was quite a big, I mean, the description kind of didn't give out how big an operation this was. Seemed like a very big operation, or quarrying rock or whatever they wanted from the rock here. Yeah, quite surprised how large it is, large area, could be even larger, who knows what was gone when they built the houses around here. Yeah, but yeah, first I was thinking, do I bother with this when it's just going to be some small holes in the rock? But it ended up being a much bigger place than I anticipated. Okay, anyway, thank you for watching. If you want, like, subscribe. If not, don't. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.